Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns have come to an agreement on a record-setting contract extension. 4 years, $160 million. That's an average annual value of $40 million a season, the highest non-paid quarterback in NFL history, and I am shocked. I am truly shocked. I'm confused for sure, but more importantly, I'm relieved and happy as fuck because I did not think I'd be waking up this morning and talking to you guys about Myles Garrett staying in Cleveland. Requested a trade back on February 3rd, and fast forward to March 9th, and something changed overnight, it feels like. Almost out of thin air, the Browns were able to persuade Myles to stay in Cleveland, and now the Browns lock down their franchise icon through 2030. We're going to run through the facts and figures of the extension, and then I want to try and piece together, frankly, how the hell we got here. Because it seemed like there was no turning back. Both sides were dug in. It was like World War I contract negotiation warfare. Neither side was going to move. The Browns were not going to listen to a single trade offer. Garrett slammed the door shut on any contract offer. It seemed like it was heading towards the messiest divorce of all time. And all of a sudden, the day before free agency, Garrett decides to have a change of heart. I don't know if it was because he got booed at the Cavs game or if $123 million in guaranteed money changed his mind. Maybe the Browns said, you know what? Here's our plan at quarterback. Would you reconsider your trade request? And Garrett decided, you know what? After looking this over, I think this is a plan for success and I can get behind this. I want to know what happened because I don't believe this is a story of the Browns made him a contract offer and Garrett decided, you know what? I will reconsider. This is a lot of money. No. Now, I've got a tough time believing this came down to money. That's what I really want to hone in on right now. Because the Browns, I don't think, would have any issue giving him this contract without a trade request. I don't believe a trade request was needed for Cleveland and Jimmy Haslam to pony up $123 million for 95. Jimmy Haslam gave Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed before he played a single snap for him. So I don't believe that this was all about a contract extension. And this was one long ploy tactic to get some more money. I think Myles could have walked into Barry's office after the season ended and said, hey, I like this contract, and give it a couple of days, iron out some details, and they would have worked it out. I do not believe that this was a trade request motivated to get a contract extension. I don't think Myles was lying through his teeth during his media run at Super Bowl Radio Row in New Orleans when he talked about wanting a trade and not wanting a new contract. Something changed. And what that is, I don't know, but I want to know. That is my biggest takeaway from this. It's not about the Browns make a good offer to Garrett. It's not about, what does this mean for the Browns moving forward? I want to know the drama here. What happened in the last 48 hours? Mary Kay said that Myles' agent spoke to her on the phone and said Garrett had a change of heart and decided, well, if I'm going to stay in Cleveland, let's get something done before free agency so that we can try and lure other free agents to the Browns, knowing that Garrett's going to be here for the long term. But man, this is a very bizarre situation because I, for one, am shocked. I did not see this one coming whatsoever. We're all happy, of course, and relieved that this was the outcome of the situation. But yeah, I'm shocked. I was wrong. I thought this would end in a trade. I thought this would end in a messy separation. I thought it could go into August. I thought we could see him skipping out on training camp and holding out into the season. Both sides were so adamant that they were not going to move. And credit and kudos to Andrew Berry and the Browns. They didn't blink. They did not entertain trade offers. And Garrett was ultimately the first one to blink and caved and signed an extension with the Browns. So let's go through the details of the extension really quickly, and then I have some more thoughts on this overall. But make sure to subscribe to the channel because when news like this breaks, we go live. We got this plane off the ground within 30 to 45 minutes of the news coming out. So if you're looking for a Browns channel during free agency to keep you up to date on all things Cleveland Browns, hit that subscribe button down below. So it's a 4-year, $160 million deal. That's an average of $40 million, guaranteed $123 million. Now remember, Garrett already had 2 years remaining on his contract. So I won't say this is a 6-year contract, but you're adding 4 years on to the 2 pre-existing seasons. And sometimes that guaranteed money already includes guaranteed money from the initial contract. But here's a better breakdown of all the financial side of things here. So no trade clause, by the way, but $204 million in total value. I think when you combine the previous or the last 2 years on his contract, along with the 4 new years on this extension, $100 million in cash the first 3 years, $88.8 million in guarantees or execution guarantees, and grand total of $122.7 million in total guarantees and some change. So here's the boring, schmoring financial side of things here. But the overarching takeaway is if you happen to run into Myles at the bar later, he should be buying your drinks here. But Garrett now becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history by a mile, topping Max Crosby at $35.5 million. Side note, by the way, the Bengals are flipping tables because Trey Hendrickson now goes, oh, that's what Myles got? Maybe he doesn't want to get $41 million or thinks he'll get $41 million, but he definitely wants to get closer to $40 million now that that's where the new bar has been set, something that broke boys in Cincinnati cannot pay. Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Nick Bosa following suit. But yes, $40 million a season. I'm not going to say I told you so because that would imply that I told you that the Browns were going to reach an agreement with Garrett before free agency. But we did project a 4-year, $160 million contract if one were to be reached. So make sure to subscribe. That way you can kind of stay ahead of the curve a little bit or stay ahead of the curve a little bit compared to some other friends of yours who are not subscribed to the channel. Now, some more thoughts on this entire matter because I've got so much racing through my head here, like everyone watching right now, because this is a complete blindside. You know what I mean? I'm shocked. That's the one word I would use to describe the news today. You can give me your one-word reaction down below. But when it comes to the possibility of the Browns giving Garrett a new quarterback plan, and that ultimately changed his mind, I don't think that can be taken off the table. When Barry spoke to the media at the NFL Combine, I was able to get the last question in, and I asked him, hey, would you consider altering your quarterback plans to best accommodate what Garrett feels is going to be the best path moving forward? And I was told more or less no, but I wasn't expecting anything else because it would be a bad reflection on ownership and front office to go, yeah, we are going to cater around one specific player and do whatever he says because that's a poor way to run a team. But, man, you got to wonder if Barry went to Garrett right before free agency and said, listen, here's our contract offer. We've had this contract offer for you for a long time now, but clearly it hasn't been enough. So, sure, we could add another $5, $10 million to it, but that does not seem to be a major motivating factor to you. So let's talk about the roster construction. And I really wonder if Barry decided to let Garrett in a little bit about what they should do at quarterback moving forward. I've got no inclination as to whether or not Garrett feels like a veteran or a rookie is best long-term. I would say surface level, you'd think rookie because a veteran bridge quarterback option is not going to offer up much hope. Whereas a rookie, there's a lot of unknown, a lot of optimism, of course. But I don't know how much film Garrett's watching of Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. Maybe as of late, he's done a deep dive on that kind of stuff and decided, I really like this prospect. And if the Browns were kind of 50-50 on going with the quarterback at number 2, but if it meant they kept Garrett, they decided, all right, well, at least we keep Myles in this one scenario. So best case scenario, the quarterback's great and we keep Garrett. Worst case scenario, the quarterback's bad, we're picking a new one next year, but we still have Myles Garrett. That's probably what my money is on. I'm not going to say this absolutely guarantees the Browns go quarterback at number 2, but I feel like it increases the chances of it. Just my hunch, just my guess. But the Browns are still going to sign a quarterback in free agency. No matter what their draft plans are, they're going to sign, I think, a minimum of 2 veteran quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson's going to be on the PUP list all of 2025. He will not count towards the 53-man roster. I think DTR will be traded during training camp. And I think you're going to have 2 veterans and 2 rookies battling for 3 spots on the active 53-man roster. But as I was saying earlier, I'm shocked. I'm not going to pick on just Daniel Ofusi from ESPN Cleveland here, but everyone thought there was no way Garrett was going to budge, right? Cleveland.com first reported that Garrett and his representatives have slammed the door on negotiations. All right, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN. After my talks here in Indy, I believe Cleveland is very dug in and willing to wait him out and show resolve. It's not just a no to any prospective trades, but an emphatic one. So this came out of left field, honestly. And I'm very relieved and happy that this was the outcome and the end result of it. But I do believe there are some potential consequences to all of this. One, and I'm filming this right after the news broke, so this could be subject to change, but no statement from Myles? That's a bit strange, right? Don't you feel like they'd have something, or he'd have something prepared and he tweeted out the moment the extension was announced? That's, say, somewhat common practice. Plus, Garrett tried to meet with Jimmy Haslam just 2 days before this extension. I don't think this meeting was about, hey, you got any recommendations of where I can get a second home? You're really rich. No, I think this was a meeting of please trade me. Please tell Andrew Berry to trade me. And Haslam, which this is kind of the funny thing, right? Some Browns fans, a lot of Browns fans dislike Jimmy Haslam. Mostly because he's meddled too much with the team and has made poor decisions. The best thing about Jimmy Haslam is he'll write blank checks. Here is Jimmy Haslam not meddling with the team, just taking a stand-back approach and letting Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry handle everything. And a lot of people were very upset that Haslam would not meet with Garrett. So I'm not trying to be a Jimmy Haslam like truther or defender, but no matter what he does, it seems to be wrong in a lot of ways, which, hey, when you come out a 3-win season, that's probably going to be the case. But, yeah, we go from a meeting denied to 2 days later getting an extension and agreeing to an extension. Something's off. Something is not right. But I guess who cares? Got the deal done, right? So let's not dwell on the past. Let's move forward and let's try and pretend like that never happened. Let's just kind of sever that whole side of things here. Just make my innie work on that, and the Audis can work on having Myles Garrett play with the Browns still. But yeah, something feels off for sure. And I also will say that Garrett, I don't think he's going to have a tough time, but I do believe there are going to be some awkwardness in the locker room. He's going to join a locker room that he said is not capable of winning a Super Bowl and basically change his mind because of money. That's the only way I can interpret this, right? That's going to be a little bit weird at first, I think. Now, I don't think anyone's going to hold a grudge against Garrett. The guy's the best player on the team by a long shot, so they'll probably just kind of suck it up, but I do believe there are some consequences, and I think Garrett may have to say something to the team about, hey, I know in February I said I want to get traded because I don't think we can win here, but I'm back. Do you still believe we can win here now? Because why did you say that earlier, and what's changed since then to think you can win here now? Or did you just sell out and you don't think we can actually win here, but $123 million was too good to pass on? Which, hey, listen, I'm not in a spot to judge passing on 123 or not passing on $123 million. But in NFL locker room, man, you hear all these stories about championships in sports and how close-knit the guys are. And I hope this does not drive a bit of a wedge between Garrett and the rest of the team. But at the end of the day, at least he's still with the Browns. So we're going to have a lot of content coming out over the next couple of days, of course, with free agency and building off of this story. But a lot of it's going to be centered around Andrew Berry and the Browns free agency moves and rumors and transactions, trades, all that stuff. After getting a deal done to keep Garrett in Cleveland, do you have more faith in Andrew Berry? Because I think there are some people that need to delete some tweets about fire Andrew Berry. He ruined my team. Myles Garrett's going to be traded now. I hate you. Myles ended up not getting traded. So with Berry finding a way to keep Garrett in Cleveland, do you walk back some things? Or are you still gung-ho? No, screw Andrew Berry for everything else. I hate him. Fire him. I don't have more faith in him anymore than I did before. Let me know in the comment section where you currently stand on AB. So let's pick a card to wrap up the show. I've had a couple of people ask me, by the way, the card story. So quick little background information on it. This is our third offseason of doing pick a card. The reason why is during the offseason, things can get a little slow, get a little dry, although this is not a slow or dry time right now. And I just thought picking a card at the end of the episode would be a fun way to keep people a little bit more engaged. I more or less stole the idea from Part of My Take, who ends all their episodes with a random number 1 through 100. So I thought, we'll do something slightly different and pick a card. Mr. Reed, which card do you want to go with? It has to be Myles Garrett related.
I was going to say 9 of clubs.
Okay, I'll go with 5 of hearts. No, 5 of diamonds. You got to do 9 diamonds, too. Because you're buying a club, you're buying a diamond. All right, 5 of diamonds. No, 4 of hearts. 4 of hearts. Okay, that's going to do it for us on our breakdown of this Myles Garrett extension. Myles Garrett staying in Cleveland. Big sigh of relief, but lots of questions.